Happy Nowruz, everyone!
Nowruz Mubarak, dostlar.
Welcome to Tashkurgan, the Chinese section of the Pamir Mountains. I'm here to celebrate Nowruz, which is the Persian and Central Asian Spring Festival.
Just a casual evening of making meat skewers in the living room.
The locals spend it visiting tons of relatives' houses and munching on snacks.
He's like, eat the snacks, or we will be angry.
Making as much noise as possible. And holding horse races and goat skin polo competitions.
Y'all, I've never been so invested in a spectator sport in my entire life.
Although the surrounding landscape of this place can be a bit inhospitable at times.
We are currently trapped in this desert mountain maze, 1 hour away from sunset. There's no internet. We have no idea which way to go.
Tashkurgan truly has some of the most unique scenery in China, and it makes a great backdrop for the Nowruz celebrations. But how did I end up here in the first place? My fiance's hometown, Kashgar, is only a few hours away, so we decided to go on a Nowruz side quest in between preparing for our wedding. So let's head to Kashgar and start this journey from the beginning.
We are on our way to Tashkurgan. It's 1 degree. It is 1 degree in Tashkurgan. Here in Kashgar, it is 16 degrees. There's a 15-degree temperature difference, so we're gonna freeze.
And if you're wondering who's driving, this is Asedan's cousin, Abdurimjan. You're probably like, wow, so cute, their names match. Well, actually, about half of the male Uyghur population has John in their name. Fun fact.
It is lunchtime. I know we just left, but this is actually the last frontier of civilization for the next 5 hours. So yeah, we're gonna have lunch here. And I love how over dramatic the entryway is. Yaksimo. Handmade noodles in progress. Wow. Of all the hand-pulled noodle places I've been to, this one has the most toppings. There's literally more toppings than noodles. Wow, that is beautiful. Look at that. That is a work of art. And we have some kebabs too. Because, a man's stomach is a bottomless pit. They ordered so much food. I was like, there's no way we're going to be able to eat all of this. But apparently, Asejan's cousin once won a competition because he ate 3 whole sheep heads. So I guess he has a pretty good appetite. He can handle all this food.
全都你吃了。
45分钟全部吃过了。什么？Mare kosa. Panama panama fte.
你别小看他，他真的能吃。
The lake is frozen! The must-have road trip snack here in Xinjiang, naan.
And just before sunset, we arrived.
We're finally here in Tashkurgan. We are not staying in a boring name brand hotel. We are staying in a cute little inn.
It's run by Hong Kong Mehmet, a Tashkurgan local who was born on the same day that Hong Kong returned to China, so his father actually named him Hong Kong. Well, Xianggang, but you know what I mean.
Dina 的书门。
We're gonna spend the first evening of our Nowruz celebrations right here in Hong Kong Mehmet's cozy living room, and then tomorrow we're gonna visit some of Asedan's friends here in Tashkurgan. Locals spend this holiday wandering through the villages, visiting dozens of friends and relatives. We don't know that many people, but we're still gonna be able to get in on quite a bit of the local festivities.
We are sitting here in the inn that we're staying at, and there is, of course, a huge variety of things on the table. Everyone's silent now. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Boy talk， 小姐姐们快过来！小朋友在干嘛呀？创造音乐。
Everyone wanted to see us perform the Uyghur wedding dance since our wedding is coming up, but we actually have not learned the moves to this yet. Asejan barely scrapes by, and I'm honestly much worse. We're gonna have to find someone to teach us this dance at some point in April, so stay tuned for that.
Now watching people dance who actually know what they're doing.
Rahmat.
这是我们塔吉克族的特色奶茶。
This is the classic Xinjiang breakfast. Non-dipped in tea, except because we're in a Tajik area, it's milk tea instead of regular tea. They actually put salt in the milk tea here, which normally I find a little bit unacceptable. I prefer sugar in it, but when you dip the naan in the salted milk tea, then it's pretty solid. So he just offered us this Tajik specialty dish. And he calls it by the name chocolate, although it doesn't seem to be made out of chocolate. Not gonna lie, I have no idea what this is.
素油，然后奶皮，然后是面粉，
Alright, let's give it a try.
白糖。
可以，很棒。
对。
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting to like this. It's very similar to a flavor from my childhood. There was like a Christmas cookie my family used to make that tastes just like this. I have not tasted this flavor in like 10 years.
是这样。
Happy Nowruz.
Rahmat.
On the first day of the new year, when you walk through that door, someone scatters flour on you, and it represents the start of a new year. Now we are on our way to Asejan's friend's house, and Asejan has a new accessory today. The owner of our inn gave it to him to wear, so he will blend in more. I don't think there's any hope for me to blend in, but he kind of can blend in. I mean, I know this is Xinjiang, and like most areas have a lot of Uyghur people, but this area he's a minority, so hopefully he'll blend in better with his hat, so they'll think he's Tajik.
The Chinese Tajiks are actually a Caucasian ethnic group, so they look completely different from Asejan and his cousin, despite only being located a few hours away. And before you ask, no, they don't really look like me either, except for this one guy.
Look, he's got blue eyes too.
你说一说话。
Check out all of the food on the table. You get that goose. Look at that. It comes right off the bone. Interestingly, they don't season it at all. This bowl might look empty, but it's actually full of salty water in case you think the meat is too unseasoned. They brought us all a bowl of lamb soup. They don't season the meat, but they do season the soup, and it's amazing. A divine pairing. Naan with soup. More food is coming. They keep feeding us. There's meat, there's naan, there's tea, there's soup, there's noodles. They're just feeding us and feeding us and feeding us.
And that's how it went at pretty much every house, admiring the colorful patterns, getting a sprinkle of flour if the host remembers.
Look at those shoulders. Flour.
And of course, being overwhelmed by the crazy amount of food on the table.
自己做的，你多一点吃嘛，我们高兴，哎，这个好。你就不吃嘛，我们就生气。
He's like, eat the snacks or we will be angry.
Some of the people we visited were Asejan's friends from when he used to live here, but a surprising amount were also completely random strangers who recognized us from Douyin and invited us inside.
We just ran into one of Asejan's Douyin subscribers. He says he's on his way back home with a sheep. Rasmo? The guy we encountered this morning who had a sheep in the back of his car just invited us to come over and sit. Yet another ridiculously beautiful, gigantic living room that could seat like 20 people. Look at all those cushions. Some things are at the snack table at every home, like these curly whirlies. Some of the nuts, these things that look kind of like a seashell, and this that they call Tajik chocolate. And there's always lamb. There's the lamb. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, but they always got it. This one I have not seen yet. It's very ornate. Oh, and here's another must-have. Naan. Pears. Ooh. Chocolate mushrooms.
Bayram Mubarak.
We ran into some subscribers from John's Douyin right here on this random path. They are on their way to a relative's house for the festival. That's what everyone is doing today. 小朋友，我太喜欢你的领带了，很可爱。
Tedince 8 kilo. Tuningen kegen Tashkurgan.
They're inviting us in for tea. Rahmat. 有天窗出来了。
Ma öyle çıraylık mümkün.
네, 出来了。那说什么比香港买买提价漂亮吗？哎，不买的。
They offered us yak soup, a bunch of snacks, and a ceremonial flower sprinkling. It was a lot of fun seeing the interiors of all of these super ornately decorated houses.
This is a classic Tajik home. Count how many patterns there are. There's probably about 30 or 40 different patterns throughout, like the cushions and the wall and the ceiling. Oh, and let me show you my favorite thing. They even put a cute little ding dong around the thermostat.
And the Maujushi.
There's always a chairman Mao somewhere.
But as I said, we don't actually know that many people here, so we also spent a lot of the day just walking around.
Look at these guys. They're all gathered around. Like, what is this mysterious creature here? This is actually the place where John and I met.
He was working as a teacher at the local elementary school and offered to be my tour guide for a day. Sorry to disappoint, but this is not one of those love at first sight kind of stories because we were both in other relationships at the time. After my trip in Xinjiang ended, it was a long time before we saw each other again. I went back to the US for a while, I started a new job in Hangzhou, the pandemic ended, I found a new home in a village. We re-met when he visited East China for the first time, and I got to be his tour guide. By that time, we were both single again, so I guess you could call it love at second sight? I had never envisioned myself dating a Uyghur guy because I figured the cultural differences would just be too extreme. But he's very open-minded and we got along so well that it's easy to forget that we're from such completely different worlds. I visited him again in Xinjiang, but neither of us wanted to do 4,000 kilometers of long distance at this ripe old age, so he moved across the country to Hangzhou. Yeah, it's kind of a complicated story, but at the end of the day, we wouldn't know each other if not for Tashkurgan.
All right, let me show you guys around the village that we're staying in because there are a lot of hotels in the main town, but that's boring. I love me some village life anywhere in the country. So there are mountains on all sides. There are lots of yaks. The house right next to the one we're staying at actually has a little yak farm. Check it out, yaks. And an angry dog who's like, don't steal my yaks. This is a very deserty region, so the trees don't grow very high. Walking around the streets here, you really feel the rays of the sun beating down upon you. It's actually -5 degrees outside, but you literally can't tell because the sun is just like blasting. So over here, we have some yurts, and people don't really live in these anymore, but they use them as a living room or a storage room. There's a big horse race that's about to happen, so there are lots of horses around. Look, another horse. He's a handsome boy. He looks like he's going to be in the competition tomorrow.
Kashgar'dan. Atqa amraq ekansizlar.
Amerika'da var. Ben Amerika'da mingen. Yo, the hat really works. The horse guys thought he was Tajik and they started talking to him in the local language and he was like, wait, no, I'm from Kashgar.
Now we're back at this lovely little inn where we'll be spending the rest of the evening. For us, traveling isn't just about looking at scenery, it's also about experiencing local life. And what better way to do that than to stay in an inn like this one? We are getting the immersive experience indeed.
两个应该。
Asajan's cousin is doing chores, helping cut the carrots for tonight's dinner. Check out the fuel for the fire. It is cow dung. Nothing goes to waste around here, y'all. Nothing. So basically you throw barley in the pot and you mix it around till it gets all like hot and crispy.
我妈妈小时候给我做过。
Yeah. 你头发里有。
这嘛中国的混在天。
Ah. Oh my goodness, the sheep has arrived. Lila. 小朋友已经开始偷吃了。 It's dinner time. Yes, everyone's eating out of the same bowl. No judging. That's just how it is. Like that's just how it is. Bye bye. 时间到了，羊。Goodbye, sheep. And don't be all up in my comments like, oh my god, they butchered a sheep, so cruel. Like, where do you think your meat comes from? Like, literally where? As I mentioned earlier, part of the Nowruz festivities is a multi-day horse race during which this family is going to be selling the crispy barley and pea things that we made earlier, as well as meat skewers, and they are putting it all together right now in the living room. 看香港如此的辛苦，大半夜的在客厅搞这个，这是什么东西啊？
这是肥肉嘛，主要就是给它加工的话嘛，就是打的一个样子好看一些。
She's mopping some little juice off the floor from the sheep.
She's mopping.
我也有，但我是毛主席跟那个谁。
我们的是毛主席。
Good morning, everyone. It is time to head to the horse race. Horse, they miss. Horse, mess.
Horse.
Wow. Look at that. That is beautiful. Hello.
We actually got there about an hour before the race began, so we started off the morning with some pilaf and then wandered around.
Time to try these little things we made yesterday. They're not bad. I feel like this is a very nutritious snack, but it does need like some kind of flavoring. Like it needs something. I don't know what. Like a little bit of salt in there, like some lemon juice, or like I don't know. Like it needs a little something. But overall, it's good. There's a little impromptu dance circle starting here. Check this up, y'all. There is someone here selling little hamsters and goldfish at the horse race. In case the horse race is not stimulating enough for the children, you can pick up a little tank or a Barbie for them. Of course, there are guns. There are always guns at these kind of places. The kids are having the time of their life on this mat here. Hello, 小朋友. This here is the horse zone. And one of the coolest things about the horse zone, in my personal opinion, is admiring all the cute outfits of the horses because, of course, you know, Tajik people love patterns. So every single horse has a blanket and a saddle with a bunch of different patterns and tassels and colors. Honestly, I am more enamored by the horse outfits than by the horses themselves. The horse hairstyles are also a sight to behold, y'all. Look at that little braid thingy. Look at that hairdo. I can't get over it. It's just so funny to me every time I see it. Especially when it's like a group of uncles standing around the horse and you know that they did this to it. Kanjagafashi. The 5-kilometer horse race is about to begin. There he is, the winner of the 5-kilometer horse race. I literally feel unworthy to even talk to this child. He looks like the king of a little empire here on top of his horse. Stay away from those feet. There's a bunch of stuff for sale. We're trying to find something cute to hang on our wall back in Hangzhou. That's my task for today. Check this out, yellow pandas. It's tempting, indeed. All right, now this is what I'm talking about. These patterns with like a white background and like a checkerboard print have been in pretty much every house we've been in. And we've been in a lot of houses over the past few days, so that should tell you this is like the quintessential Tajik household item, so I cannot leave without one of these. But which one is the question? We finally found one. Look, we finally got a pattern. Yay! Check this out. They have an adult version of ring toss. So instead of little stuffed toys, it's soda cans, cigarettes, and some random jewelry. But kids are playing it anyway, so I don't know what happens if a kid lands a ring on the cigarettes. See? A kid just won a pack of cigarettes. What's that? I love how intricately carved all of these thingies are. Check out the food selection. We got cold noodles, we got lamb soup, we got pilaf, oh, and of course, lamb skewers. Ooh, they have baked buns. We might have to come by here later. Love these. They're selling a ton of these like processed skewer things. These are beloved anywhere you are in China, even if you're in the most random place. This one's a classic. Sheep intestines stuffed with rice. Whole chickens. More kebabs. But we had pilaf earlier, so we're not going to eat anything right now. There's even a little vegetable market going. Someone's just selling raw vegetables. Y'all, look at this ring toss. Red Bull cans, vegetable oil, and flour. But the kids are lining up for this, and it's like, there's only 2 toys. All the rest of it is flour and Red Bull. Here's another one, cigarettes, tea, and liquor. Okay, let's go back to the horses now. Now it is time for a game that is, I guess, kind of like polo, but instead of using a ball, they use a goat skin. You can't really see them right now because they're way over there fighting over the goat skin, but they'll come back eventually. They have this whole court. They're coming with that goat skin. Oh! Score! Yo, I have never been so captivated by a spectator sport in my entire life. This is unlike anything I've ever seen before, that's for sure. And I can already envision a bunch of y'all in my comments like, ew, goat skin, oh, that's so gross. Well, I have news for you about the origin of football. Humans just like to throw skins around. Them's the facts. Just a few minutes ago, they were riding handsomely across the field, the goat skin flapping in the wind like a flag, and now it's just like, just awkwardly fighting over it. Oh! 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 Holy cow! Did y'all see that? And that is why they recommend you stand at the outer ring, not at the inner ring. But we are living on the edge. Throw it in there! Throw it in there!
Wow, amazing.
Yay! Score! We're not even rooting for any specific team, and the teams keep switching because this is like an elimination kind of match. So like, I don't really care who scores. I just want to see more goat in basket. So anytime someone gets the goat in there, we're like, yeah! Like, I don't care what team they're on. We're not rooting for anybody. We just want to see goat in basket.哎呀，差一点，耶！
哦，太帅了！
The spectators are clearing out. The sun just went down behind the mountain, and the games are pretty much over for the day. Believe it or not, this is gonna go on for another 2 days. But we can't stay here forever. We actually do have to get back to Kashgar, so tomorrow morning we will be departing. You might think the vlog ends here, but actually, because we took some weird back road, it actually turned out to be a pretty interesting journey, so stick around. But first, time for some breakfast. Isdan's cousin is experiencing Instagram Reels.
What?
this landscape. This place feels like another planet. Oh my gosh, look at the photos. Konak mo, konak ames mo. Siz konak mo, konak ames mo.
I think this is some kind of fad going on in Kashgar right now because his entire Douyin profile is also photos of him on the phone.
I now see why this road is not recommended on Baidu Maps. Look at that telephone pole! It got yanked right out of the ground. This is one of the most uninhabited places I have ever seen.
No another cars, just we are.
Woo! Will you look at that rock? Finally found another car.
Guangdong machine si kema Guangdong.
Having my leftover noodles out here in front of this amazing scenery. There's no picnic table, there's no facility of any kind, but there's a sick view. Of course! What trip to a border region in the middle of nowhere would be complete without a super dramatic cable bridge? It's so beautiful, but also kind of depressing because this landscape does not support life at all. I feel like I'm on another planet. Like, yeah, there's water, but there's just no life except us, the transient visitors through this lifeless place. We were on a paved road like 5 minutes ago, but now, what the hell is this? We thought we'd be able to get out of this maze by sunset, but now I'm feeling like we can't because we're stuck now and we have no internet out here. China actually has amazing internet coverage in like the most random corners of the country, but there's gotta be like at least one person living there, and there is no one living here. And this is making me realize how incompetent humans have become without internet. Because if this was 20 years ago, I mean, I remember going on road trips with my parents and my father would whip out one of those fat paper maps and somehow get us where we were going on a paper map. And now it's like, we can't do that, man. We need that. Google Maps, Baidu Maps. Hey, a bird. Oh, there's actually life in this weird place. There's actually life. Okay, so this is the right road after all. It just sucks. Literally taking photos with a subscriber right here in this godforsaken place. We are walking in front, checking for insurmountable obstacles. This place is so barren and so lacking in any sort of vegetation that rock slides happen all the time. So they've actually covered the electricity cables here with this protective thingy so the rocks don't like rip through them. Oh, look at this. We're driving on top of the snow. 这是雪啊. Oh my gosh. We've been driving on top of like this frozen layer. The road is here.
So yeah, Baidu Maps does not recommend this road for a reason. I'd say it's definitely worth experiencing once in this lifetime though, but just once. And now that we've finally made it back to Kashgar, we'll be sharing with you guys our life in Asajan's family's village in the month leading up to our wedding. Hope you guys enjoyed today's vlog. Happy Nowruz and see you next time.